Help, I've got a middle schooler, they hate reading. What do? I know it's probably no one. There's probably no one out there who has a middle schooler that hates reading. Or maybe everybody does. I have a lot of ideas and suggestions, and today we're just going to focus in on one of those. And I've got 3 reasons why it is a great idea to do the movie book combo to get your kids excited about reading. And then I'm going to share a whole bunch of suggestions for middle grade books that have a movie to go with them that kids do enjoy. And hopefully they'll help you find something for your middle school. I'm Heather, or Miss Postawait if you're one of my students, and this is Pages with Postawait. So I wanted to start off with 3 reasons why it is such a good idea to introduce or combine books and movies. First reason, it's fun. It's fantastic. I love it. When you can combo a book and a movie, it is a ton of fun. I do it when I'm teaching a novel with my students. I try to find a book that has a movie to go with it. They're not always going to have that, and I have fantastic books that I have read with my students that do not have a movie. I wish they'd make one. But the ones that do always have a higher buy-in because the kids are looking forward to getting to watch the movie and read the book and see the comparison. And we do read the book first. So additionally, when you're watching the movie and you've read the book, and you have a community that's read it. So that could be your family. That could be like a buddy read with friends in our classroom. It's so much fun because the kids get to talk about it. Oh, did you see how that was different? Or they left out this part. Or, oh my gosh, that's not how I pictured that character. And they get to talk about it. So not only did we read a book together, we got to watch the movie together. And then we got to kind of compare, contrast, and share our thoughts and opinions. And let me tell you, those middle schoolers love to share their opinions. Of course they do. Number 2, the second reason that it is awesome to combine book and movie is for my reluctant readers, because there are a whole bunch of reasons why a student might be a reluctant reader, why your kid might be a reluctant reader. Obviously, sometimes books just aren't as appealing, or there's other things that are in competition. But a lot of times it's actually the struggle with reading. There's all kinds of reasons why a middle schooler would struggle with reading. Sometimes we have a situation where maybe reading is a struggle for them. So they're so busy doing the decoding of sounding out the words and making sure that they're pronouncing it right, that they miss the meaning of the words. Like, I got the word right, but I don't know what I just read. So that happens. Sometimes we're at the wrong level. So a student is reading more at like a 2nd, 3rd grade level, but the book is at like a 6th or 7th grade level. Okay, so when that happens, they're not understanding the words that are coming off the page. They're not getting that deeper comprehension. And so because of that, they're not enjoying the story. They pronounced all the words right, but they didn't really understand the story. They didn't understand the plot. They didn't understand what the characters were doing there because they're not listening to that part. They're making sure they can say the words. Sometimes, especially if they're bored, eyes wander. I know you've probably had that before. All of these things build. There's tons of reasons. So you've read the book, you sort of got the gist of it, and then you watch the movie and you're like, wait a minute. Oh, that's what was happening. Oh, I didn't understand that was what was going on. And so there's just these aha moments and this clarification opportunity and this place where they can say, oh, I get it. Or I see what they were doing there. Or, they pick up on the inferences. They pick up on the subtleties. They pick up on the character development. So sometimes, especially for my kids who struggle at reading, the movie adds so much to the text. I do that as a class, obviously, but even if you are reading at home with kids, and maybe taking turns reading, or they've read this book and they're like, hey, can we watch the movie? I just finished this book. Oh my gosh, yes. Say yes. Take that opportunity because it will build so much understanding. It'll also allow them to actually maybe see the differences, because there's a heck of a lot of movies out there, as you know, that don't follow the book. And so when they go off script, your kid might actually realize, wait a minute, this didn't happen in the book. Why are they doing that? That's weird, which also builds understanding. So the third reason why I really like to do a combo of a book movie is because it does build excitement for reading. Because let's say that you have a series, you're reading a series, they have a movie for all of the books, or they have a movie for like 2 of the books. That can really build excitement for the kid to go back to the series, read more of the books, and then come and see how they did that with the next book in the series. So that's a lot of fun and can help to like bring your reluctant reader or your kid that doesn't like to read actually be motivated to read. And a lot of times they do find that they like the book better than the movie. One of my favorites with those is actually Percy Jackson. I read Percy Jackson in my classroom with my students a lot. I really like that book. It hits at the right level for middle school. The main character is snarky. The movie's terrible. So for those reasons, I so love reading the book with the kids and then showing them the movie. They get to see just how far off script they went from the book to the movie. If you don't read the book, then you probably do enjoy the movie. But if you've read the book, you're going to be so disappointed. Where is this monster? When did this happen? Holy moly, are they the wrong age? What is going on with this? Like all these pieces and parts that are going with that help them understand the book, get really excited about it and be able to talk about it and build community and like share, oh, well, I like this better. I like this better. If you do go Percy Jackson, so many reasons to do that. They just came out with the TV series to go with that, and that pertains a heck of a lot closer to the book. I'm really enjoying those too, and I can't wait to kind of supplement that with my students and see if they have a preference once they've read the book and seen all those things and can kind of compare and contrast. The nice thing is there's so many books in that series, so your kids have so much potential. If they fall in love with that, I mean, you have 5 books in the first one, 4 books in the second. Like these are series. And then there's offshoots. So mythology, it's fantastic and it will pull them in. I'm going to give you a whole list of awesome combos of books and movies. Not all of these have I seen both. I will clarify if I haven't watched the movie or read the book, just so you know that I'm giving you ideas, but not necessarily recommendations. I'm going to kind of give you a range because I don't know what your middle grader is or their reading level. So there are all kinds there. See what works for you. See what works for your family. See what works for your kids. See what they're interested in. And as always, kids should be picking their books. Let them choose what they want to read. If you are a reader, then you know when somebody else picks your book for you, it's not always a win. And so if you already have a reluctant reader, it's really important that they are getting a say in what they're reading. So here is my not extensive list, but it's pretty long. So I kind of have a bunch of like realistic fiction. So realistic fiction just means that it's usually modern day and it would be realistic things that would happen. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So here our protagonist is male and more that diary format. A lot of fun. That series just keeps going. I can't keep those on my shelf. They love those. And there is at least one, I think there's more than one movie out for that series as well. Very popular. Really good middle grade kind of direction there. Middle school, Worst Years of My Life. That's a James Patterson series. There's a whole bunch of those. And I know there is a movie for the first one. It is a middle schooler who is mischievous and making mistakes and all kinds of things. The books are fantastic. A lot of fun. I would recommend those. They're good. Stargirl. So that movie is on Disney Plus. That book is a Jerry Spinelli and it has been out for a very long time. Fantastic, really good book about learning to be yourself and being okay with maybe not being the same as everybody else. Super good book. Wonder, another book that kind of touches in on recognizing bullying and being kind along those same lines. So I'm going to caveat here, this one is historical fiction, but Wonder has an offshoot. If you're familiar with the story, Julian is the antagonist in that story. He's kind of the bad guy. There's a newer book. It's called White Bird, and it came out last year or the year before. And it's a graphic novel, but it also has a novelization as well. And they did make a movie. So it's historical fiction because we are having Julian actually contact his grandmother, talk to her about her experience during the Holocaust. And she went into hiding in France. So the movie came out last year. Due to some of the complications with the actors and writers strike last year, it kind of impacted that release and it didn't do as well as they thought it would. So it has been pulled and it's being re-released for theaters, I think in October next year. So what a fun book to maybe read as a family and then go and see it in the theater. So that's always fun. That's nice. I really enjoyed that. I read that one with my students in my book club this year and they all very much enjoyed it. So we are looking forward to going to the theater next year for those of the kids that are still with me next year. Anyway, super good. If you have a reluctant reader, highly recommend do the graphic novel. And if you have a reader that would enjoy the novelization, it was fantastic. I highly recommend. Okay, coming back to more realistic fiction, I have a couple more. One is Hoot. I have not seen the movie. I read the book years ago. But it's this group of kids that are trying to protect an endangered owl that I think lives in the ground, like burrows in the ground. And so they're doing a lot to this construction zone. The movie looks like it follows quite relatively along. Might watch for it being a little bit dated, but it looked decent. Yeah, so read the book. I have not seen the movie, but it is available. Holes is always a winner. Middle schoolers love that book and the movie is done well. It's older and more than likely you might want to just be aware that schools do like to teach that one. 5th, 6th grade levels usually get into Holes. So it may be a book that your kid has read and seen the movie. It might be a book that they didn't get to, and so it would be a great choice at home. Coming back in more about some classics. So I highly recommend if you're going to read a classic with a middle schooler, especially a reluctant reader, please pull in the support of a movie. Please talk to your kid. Classics are not easy to read. There's a lot of words that we don't use regularly that are a lot of times in books that are a little older. And then additionally, there's just some turns of phrase, expressions, different things that make the reading level on classics a little bit higher. So bringing in a movie is fantastic in supporting your child in that way. So books and movies that have those, Anne of Green Gables, that's a middle grade-ish one. That's a classic. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you obviously have multiple movies that you can go with there. Going with that same author, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach. A lot of his books have actually been put into movies. So you have that, The Giver. That one is, again, a lot of times read in schools with the kids. So they may have that experience or they may, it may be coming their way depending on how old your kid is. So that's a really good one to support with the movie. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Excellent movie. Very complicated text. I think kids can get that one, but I don't think I would throw that one to a reluctant reader and just say, hey, good luck. I definitely would want to support that with an adult who can, answer questions and help support vocabulary. But additionally, that movie will really bring that story to life. That's what you want in a book, to get carried away with the story. So I would definitely want support and help if you're going to handle your child A Wrinkle in Time. That one is a complicated story. It has some things that are, I don't know. It's not that it's not a good story. It is. It has a difficulty level that's a little bit different. I love to be available to support that one. And the movie's wonderful, so that does add to it. But I mean, you have like time-space continuums. I mean, there's a lot of complicated stuff in there. So dystopian or fantasy or science fiction kind of books. So you have all kinds. This one might be a higher middle grade, but I do have kids that are reading it. I teach 6th grade and I have several kids reading it right now. And that would be Hunger Games, the Hunger Games series with the prequel that just came out in a movie form. That definitely pulled a lot of my kids' interest into the series. Whoa, what? Okay, I do have kids reading the Hunger Games. I probably wouldn't recommend that below a 6th grade level. I would probably aim 7th and 8th grade, but that's me personally. I don't care what the kids read. They can read whatever they want, but that's a great one to support with the movie. Love that there's multiple movies with the whole series. So, I mean, you have kids who are motivated to read. Awesome. Maybe more middle grade level would be Artemis Fowl. That series is a lot of fun. I love that we have the main character. He's kind of the bad guy turned good, evil genius guy. They made a movie. I saw the movie. We read that book as a book club. We were really excited. They made a movie and they got some things correct. I think they pulled a little bit from the second book into the movie. So just going in forewarned, that one would be a really good conversation starter because it does not stick with the book. So yeah, interesting. Captain Underpants has a movie. That's probably, I'm going to say it's a lower middle grade. Those are hysterical. They're funny. They still appeal. I have 6th graders reading them. So that's really a fun one. And I mean, sure, watch the movie. It's animated. It'll be hysterical. Speaking of animated, Last Kids on Earth, that is a great book for reluctant readers. That's a really great series because there is a lot of picture to word ratio. So we're reading a chapter book, but there's so many pictures. There's pictures all over everywhere. So it's got a lot of extra support for reluctant readers. And then there's a whole animated show on Netflix. So, I mean, that's a lot of fun. Probably my number one, which is funny that I'm putting it here at the end of the video, but my number one for like reading a book and watching the show or the movie would have to be the series of Unfortunate Events. Oh my goodness. What a delightful book. Just to start off, there's 13 books in this series because of course they are, because that's an unlucky number. And the orphans in this series are the so unlucky. You have to love Lemony Snicket. He's telling the story and he self-inserts himself. Oh my goodness, don't read this. It's so depressing. These poor kids, they're so sad. This is horrible. It's so much fun. They're a delight. If you like historical fiction, if you like kind of that gothic feel to things, wonderful. And of course, there's a movie and there's a TV series. So, I mean, you can't go wrong. They're a lot of fun. Jim Carrey's involved in one of those. I can't remember if he's in the movie or the TV series, but so much fun. So I highly recommend that one. What a great series. You could read that whole thing with your family and then enjoy the TV series with it. So that was fun. There are some other ones that have come out recently. Some of the books are a little bit bigger. The Benedict Society, I loved that book. It's a little bit more of a chonker. The movie did not pull me in. I think it's a TV series actually on Netflix. So I tried because I absolutely adored that series. We read at least 3 in that series as a family. They are chonkers, but they're so worth it. They're such a good book. And the TV series is there to support. It just didn't pull us in. The other one that I really, really enjoyed the book is Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. Bless their hearts. They did try to make a movie. I want to say it's on Disney. It could be on Netflix. It's one of those made-for-TV movies. Chris Grabenstein is such a good author. He's funny. He gets kids. And so I love his books. I love that whole series. That movie was a disappointment. Like, we were just, again, I read it with my book club. We were just so disappointed. We just did not enjoy the combo there. You have a middle schooler. They don't like reading. Why don't you try this? Let's see if this works. This sometimes works with my students and even with my kids, and definitely with my nieces and nephews. And I hope you found something helpful. I hope this kind of sparked some ideas, and there's tons more coming out. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. But if you could leave a comment down below and maybe make another suggestion. What is another great middle grade book movie combo? Let's just keep the conversation going. What are some more ideas that I've left out that other people could benefit from? That would be fantastic. Obviously, if you're enjoying this, please like and subscribe. It helps me so much. I would just love to have you join me for more of this kind of thing. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the flip side. Bye.